some of the dollars from the internet. Now let's come back to the backtrack thing. Now let us see, where does actually backtrack fits into the story. First of all, what is actually a backtrack? Now backtrack is actually a dedicated operating system which is being explicitly designed for the attackers or penetration testers. All the tools that you are going to require, like Nmap or some SQL injection tools, some Cisco exploitation frameworks, Android frameworks, or rather I would say Android exploitation frameworks, wireless tools, and all these things are already pre-configured and pre-installed into the backtrack. And it's a simple Ubuntu-based platform that you can find freely over the internet. Now, next question that arises is where to find the backtrack. So let's solve this problem as well. And also I'll tell you some of the important things that, okay, so here is actually the link where you can find the backtrack. It says www.backtrack-linux.org/download. You can download any version of the backtrack, but as a beginner, I would request you to please jump into somewhere between 4R2, that is 4 revision 2, to somewhere between 5R3. So jump out in any of those versions. You can simply click on the backtrack 5R3 if you're interested in that. I would recommend to download a GNOME, and depending what is your architecture of your machine, you can download a 64 or 32-bit. You can download ISO or VMware, whichever suits you. You can directly download it. It's a pretty big file. You can say around 3100 MB. You can directly download it, or you can say you can download a torrent as well. Now the question arises, if you are quite familiar with this technology, you might be asking yourself that there is a next release of the backtrack that says Kali Linux. Now why to not go with that, and why to go with the backtrack? Now if you are just a beginner and want to start some things with the security perspective, I would recommend to go into the backtrack, because there is a problem in the Kali. The first problem is actually about the Metasploit framework. The things which were set up into the backtracks, Metasploit was totally re-engineered and was put into the backtrack, although it is more powerful into the Kali. But really for the beginners, I would recommend not go into the Kali. First of all, try to master the things into the backtrack, then you will find yourself more comfortable into the Kali. The second reason that I would say is about the /pentest directory. Now in the backtrack, in a few moments I'll tell you some of the live scenarios, and I'll try to travel into the backtrack as well. You will notice that some things, that there was a folder in the backtrack that says /pentest. All the security tools, audit tools like network frameworks and maps, Metasploit, and all these things were well categorized and well arranged into the backtrack into this /pentest folder. This /pentest folder is not at all available into the Kali Linux, and this might be a problem for the unexperienced user, because in that file you can simply go into the file, can check out the source code, can edit them, can modify them, and can learn what are the tools available into this operating system. But for the Kali, this is not actually the scenario. You will be really finding some troubles, although every tool is present in the Kali, but it is not arranged in that great manner. It is there into the bin bash folder, and it is being made into a command. So you can, although you can download this Kali as well, if you are not that much patience holder, you can simply log in into the download section, and this will say register and download, or you can simply click on the no thanks, I 0. Choose your architecture, whether 2-bit version or 64-bit version, and of course the official one will be there for the custom image. You can choose your GNOME or mini ISO. I would choose the ISO or VMware version, and instead I would really recommend you to use the ISO, because a VMware image can be created from the ISO, but reverse is not at all possible. And finally, of course, we have a direct and torrent link as well. So this is all about the backtrack and all these things. So you can get it directly from the backtrack-linux.org. Let's move back. into our presentation and let's check out. I hope you are pretty much clear with that. There can be lots of module in the pen testing for a wired network or something web application security or a way bunch of other. Now, which module to choose? Now, many people will recommend that has got a more scope. Now, everywhere, interest in which you will have the field, the more interesting field you will have that interests you most will create a more scope. That's all the theory I have always been following up. And of course, I would recommend you to go through with the IT laws. No need to master them, but at least some familiarization with IT laws is necessary so that you do not find yourself in some troubles and later on being blaming on me that yes, that was the thing and all these things. So go through with the legal perspective first, that what is actually my range. I can move on to the things onto that. So I hope the things are pretty much clear about the backtrack. And now let's have a look into the backtrack with some live examples so that you can get familiar about what is there actually in the backtrack and all these things. So I have installed the backtrack. Now first of all, it says once you have installed, it will ask you for the default password. First of all, you have to type StartX, that is the default